So in this video, we're going to talk about operations and functions. It's a foundational lesson of just understanding how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide two functions. So let's get started. For the addition of functions, it's f plus g of x, which we can then rewrite as f of x plus g of x. So the way that I'm going to write it in my video today is I'm going to show it as two separate functions so it's easy to see visually for all the four functions. First example, let f of x equal 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 and g of x equal 3x minus 6. Our goal is to find f plus g of x, but just like how we showed it in the previous slide, we're going to just rewrite as f of x plus g of x. As we're starting the problem, the first thing I would do is write the two functions side by side and enclose them inside parentheses as follows. 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 in its own parentheses plus 3x minus 6 in its own set of parentheses. The reason we use parentheses in the first place is to ensure that if we see a negative sign on the outside, we can just automatically use distributive property to distribute that negative into the inside of the respected parentheses. But since there are no there are no negatives in this problem on the outside, we would then just do 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 plus 3x minus 6 and remove the parentheses. But as we're adding the two functions together, we should analyze and see if there are any like terms. So I do see that 5x and 3x are like terms, as well as 1 and negative 6. So make a note here that when I did my boxes, I did box the positive 1, but I also did box the minus 6 to show that it is negative 6. So in our final answer, we would get 4x squared plus 8x minus 5. For the subtraction of two functions, f minus g of x, we would rewrite it in a nice and visual pleasing way. It would be f of x minus g of x. And in the next example, we see that f of x is the same as example 1, and so is g of x. Our goal is to find f minus g of x. So once again, we'll reiterate it, f of x minus g of x. And just like example 1, we're going to line it up side by side with parentheses, so 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 minus parentheses 3x minus 6. And since we see a negative on the outside, we're going to distribute that negative to 3x and to negative 6, changing their signs. And on the next step, I can just remove the parentheses and do 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 minus 3x plus 6. Now, at this stage, I would then analyze for like terms, so 5x and negative 3x, as well as 1 and 6. So I would get 4x squared plus 2x plus 7. The multiplication of two functions, f times g of x, can be written as f of x times g of x. So in this example right here, f of x is equal to 4x squared plus 5x plus 1, and g of x is equal to 3x minus 6. So once again, let's reiterate f times g of x, which is f of x times g of x. And just like examples 1 and 2, we're going to line them up side by side. So parentheses 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 in parentheses times 3x minus 6 in parentheses. Notice I didn't use the little bullet symbol right there in between f and g of x, because normally when we look at multiplication of two functions, we can just see that, oh, the first set of parentheses times the second set. Now, at the next stage of this problem, I would then take each of the terms on the left side. So for example, I'll take the 4x squared and I'm going to distribute that to the 3x minus 6, which would give me 12x cubed minus 24x squared. And now I'll take the middle term of the first set, which is 5x, and multiply it to 3x minus 6. So that's 15x squared minus 30x. And same thing with the 1. 1 times the 3x minus 6 gives us 3x minus 6. Then I would look for like terms again. But since 12x cubed is, the only term there, then we'll just leave it as is. But negative 24x squared and 15x squared will combine. So does negative 30x and 3x. and minus 6 will just be alone there. So in our final answer, we would write 12x cubed minus 9x squared minus 27x minus 6. And our last one, division property of two functions. If I do f over g of x, I'm going to rewrite it as f of x over g of x. Now, there is something special about the division of two functions that we're not going to talk about in this video, but it's good to know that g of x cannot equal 0. And the reason for that would be because it has to do with the domain of the function, or the rule also, if you divide a number by 0, it's considered undefined as well. But for the sake of this video, we're not going to go over that. In our last example, we'll let f of x equal 4x squared plus 5x plus 1, and g of x equal 3x minus 6. So this is going to be f of x over g of x. So essentially, it's the easiest of the four in my opinion, so I would just do top over bottom. So 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 all over 3x minus 6. Now, hopefully this video helped you understand the foundational aspects of operations with functions. Feel free to leave any comments in the video below and enjoy.